All right, everybody, welcome to the Studying Brew, episode 192 on this beautiful Wednesday evening. It is going to be a great one tonight. Tonight, we are going to be answering your questions. That's right. And if you're on live right now and you want a question answered, like a screenshot from one of your Q banks, and you want to just ask Brandy, put it up in the chat. She might answer it. We're going to go off our Discord tonight. We're going to look at what people left. Not a lot. So we're going to have a quick one tonight. We're going to have some questions unless people start posting. But I think there was a lot of questions Brandy answered individually today. But if you got some questions, we're going to do that on the off the Discord. So if you are on live, participate, get some questions up on the Discord, and Brandy will try to answer those QBank questions. Why not, right?
Why not?
Why not? My name is Andy. I am the guy that runs the back office over here at KonaButterflyz. The one who had a lot of sun today. Didn't wear a sun hat. Brandy. She's got her Series 6, 63, 26, 65, and her Series 7, which makes her more than qualified to teach you all the things you need to know. So that way you too can get a pass notice. We had a great day in the sun at track. Our daughter won second and third place and set her own PR and her own broke a record for the school, 8 seconds. So it was a great day. Our boy, so not so much. He's just he's there. PR'd. Yeah, he PR'd personally, but he was there for his own beer. So to speak, not real beer. But you know what I mean, the expression.
No, I've never heard that.
You never heard like I'm here just for the beer?
No, but I figured
you never heard that.
But I figured
you
online.
never heard that.
No, I haven't, but I figured online you got to clarify some things sometimes.
Well, I was going to. I mean, he doesn't drink, but it's just an expression where I'm just here for the beer. Never heard that? Like I'm just here to. All right. Well, learn something new every day. All right. Well, that was our day, but we are here tonight on the Studying Brew. Like I said, we're going to be answering those questions. Guys, there is, we have a lot of free stuff that we do. The Studying Brew, the Discord is one of them. Take advantage of the things that we do and offer for free that you guys can take advantage of, like answering questions, getting into a community. Last night we were talking to Kevin. Kevin's been leaning on the community a little bit, you know, and he also got all his pass notices with us. There's a lot of people who use us to get their pass notices that locked into the Discord, who started the community or got into the community, and they got answers and they study and they have those you know, those what do I want to say, those partnerships as they get through the journey. Connections. Thank you, Brandy. And so it might be that winning difference for you. I was talking to update on Jacoby. He's consistent. He was going to be on tonight, but I told him to go to bed. He's on the Florida time. He's really trying to be consistent in his routine and what he's doing. And he brought up a good point, or he brought up something, and I think it's one of the things that we forget. You know, he's struggling with being consistent and just determined to do things. You know that he has set for himself, like different goals. You know, he's trying to get in shape, and he's trying to get his license, and he's trying to do his business. And consistency and discipline is one of the things he struggles with openly. And he's been asking me to keep him accountable. He likes that I bring him up on the Studying Brew. Maybe it's a little bit of attention for him. I don't know, but it keeps the boy going. And I'm very proud of him. But today he was having a struggle. He was really having a hard time. And I said to him, you're paying the price. Like, we forget sometimes when things are difficult, we forget there's a price to be paid. We forget that this is the price to be paid for the next level. Like, you can't assume that you're just going to go ahead and pick up this stuff and you're going to have minimal study, minimal effort, and just going to go get a pass notice. You can be determined all you want. You can say, I'm going to go get it, but the actions behind it have to be there. You have to have the plan behind it to get there. It can't be just wishful thinking, and it can't be just words on a bumper sticker that gets you there. And he was like, you know what, man? He goes, I won't say exactly what he said, but he's like, I'm going to man up and just get this thing done. What he said was a lot more colorful. That's not suit for everybody to hear, but you know, I appreciate his passion. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to get it done anyway. And he was actually going to like go to bed early, and because he was feeling tired and he was feeling kind of like really wore out from what he's been trying to do lately. Mm-hmm. Instead, he muscled through it, got through his exercise, and he went and studied and knocked out a full exam and got over a 70%. Mm-hmm. And he's like, now I feel like I accomplished something. Now I feel good. guys, it doesn't on those days where it feels like the worst, where you don't want to do something, that's when you have to lock in and really do it. That's when you really have to do those things that nobody wants to do. That's when you go to the gym, right? That's when you go for that walk. That's when you go for that extra rep. That's when you go for that extra, go talk to that extra person, that phone call, that extra study session, that extra hour, that extra whatever it is. When you really don't want to do it, that's how you get it done. When you really push yourself on that extra on those days that you don't want to do it, that's where it pays off the most. And you're actually feeling pretty good about it. Look, you need to have some small victories of your own. And if this thing is getting you wore out or wore down, or you're feeling like you don't have enough time, or you're feeling like you're struggling, you're not understanding it, it's because you're going through the growing pains. You're paying the cost. Look, gets better, but you got to stick to a plan. You got to have a plan. You can't just say, quote unquote, I'm going to study today and think it's going to be done, because the quote unquote, it's going to be studying today usually isn't that intentional. You have to have an intentional plan, and that's where a study plan comes into existence. That's when it comes in handy, is when you have a plan. If you don't have a plan yet, we'd like you to join up with KonaButterflyz. It is a new month. It is a new you starting on Thursday. So if you're watching this already on the replay on YouTube, thank you to all the people who subscribe and also get the notifications and let other people know and share this. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody that shares the KonaButterflyz in their offices. Share it everywhere. Guys, you are our marketing. Instead of paying for marketing, we rely on our performance and our students and our results. So we really do appreciate when people actually spread the word of Kona. It does help out. But the thing is that if you don't have a plan, like I was saying, we have the plan. We have a 21-day plan that comes in the membership. It gets you through all the content. It gets through the content on your own time. You do that during those hours in the early morning, late at night, whenever you have time, in lunchtime, break time, whenever that time comes up, you can get yourself through that content. You lock in for 7 days, you get through it, and then we have a whole program where we do these live sessions where we help you apply the knowledge, where Brandy's on these live sessions, literally showing you on live quizzes on how to answer these questions with the very little content. So that way you can understand how much you don't need to know. So if you haven't started with us, we'd like you to join up, scan the QR code, hit the links. We got books for sale, the SIE, the 6, 63, 65, and 26. Kona community, like I said, is on the Discord. All you got to do is scan the QR code. All the links for everything is right there. 951-290-3077. Give a call, give a text. And also you can email me at KonaButterflyz@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. All right. Tomorrow's schedule, we're back on track. SIE Live is happening tomorrow, 10 a.m., 65 Kona Study Hall and the small group tutoring. So make sure to check that, get that reminder in the morning an hour before all the session starts. It goes out. So once you get that email, it does have the link in there, or you can just simply use the April code. We are not switching up any the Zoom codes until next week. So there you go. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Let's go, Brandy. Anything you want to add?
No.
I'll let you go ahead and say what you're going to say about this.
Oh. I'm so used to
because you got the questions. I don't know what you're doing, so I'm just going with it. I'm here for the beer.
I'm answering questions that were posted on Discord.
Yeah, I already said that. You're not add nothing else to add? Okay.
No, I guess. So I'm going to be doing
so awkward. All right, just let's pull up some questions. Let's go to it.
Techniques and connections. anyways, guys. All right. So I'm looking at this question. There's a $1. There is a 10%. There is a $2 and there's a 5%. So I'm looking, there's a percent here, a percent there, right? $1 here, $1 there. And then there is the 1 and the 1. Guys, that's just observations. That's just what we practice on Mondays and Tuesdays, right? Mondays and Tuesdays on the brew, we're just observing, right? But let's kind of tie in some content just so you can find a connection. So I go through the question and I'm going to read it backwards because there's a lot of numbers. And isn't what we need to answer at the end of the question instead of at the beginning, right? So I look at, it says Drew's total return. So two things that means is one, my answer is going to be in a percent, and two, it's income plus gains, and I'm going to do some dividing by whatever I purchased it at. Okay. So those are the two things. Now check this out. Technique wise, 100% technique. Since A and B both have the ones, and we know that total return has to be answered in a percentage, get out of here, $. 10 is the answer. 10% is the answer. 100% on technique. Okay. But because this is a tested topic for multiple exams, let's go ahead and answer the question. Okay. But that's how I would have got that based on technique. Okay. So I purchased, or Drew purchased for $20. So that's my $20 right there. 1 year later, he sold it for 21. So 21 minus 20, that is $1 of a gain. Right? Next is paid a 25-cent quarterly dividend. We have it for a year. So 0.25 times 4 is $1 of income. If we take our $2 divided by $20, we get 10%. That is how you figure out this answer. And that's also how you get it based on technique.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
Good job, Randy.
Thank you. It's number heavy. I'm sorry tonight. Tonight is number heavy.
It's the ones that most people struggle with.
Right. So this was sent to me in a direct message. So we're going to attempt to do the same thing that we just did, right? I have 2080, 19, that's straight. Like when I meant straight, there's like no change. 1920, and then 1880. Okay. So there's a lot of things going on. I've got two 19s, right? I got two 19s. I've got two 80s, right? We're kind of all over the place. The other thing I'm going to look at is our number that has our number trick. That's like the third number. So 1880 is the lowest. 2080 is the highest. What is this? 1920? 1920 is our third highest. So, you write it in order. Oh, look at that. Technique wise, again, 100% technique. Check it out. Guys, 2 answer questions, 2 answers, 2 questions, literally got the answer based on technique. Isn't that crazy?
That's it.
Numbers.
Why do people struggle?
But I get it. And so the question that I got when this question was sent to me was, how do you figure this out? Right? So I got a pop of $20, pop of 20. Again, this is a test topic. I got sales charge of 4%. What is the net asset value? So this is that one where we kind of have to go backwards. That's
where algebra comes in.
Yeah, because it's NAV plus the sales charge equals the pop. I'm going to be real with you. This particular question, not usually on the test. Usually you're given the NAV,
the sales charge,
and the sales charge, and you have to figure out the pop. But this one's a little backwards.
So I was watching off topic, but not. I was watching a show the other day, and the guy was in the securities business, and this young broker was asking about the NAV, and he's all, "What are you new? You the NAV is plus the sales charge equals the pop or something like that." It was like the guy was confused on how to find the pop, and he's like, "Get out of here!" Yelling at this guy. He's like, "It's on the test." Anyways,
see,
just came up.
See. So what you guys got to do is just simply figure out what 4% of $20 is. That's literally this whole problem. 20 times 4% equals 0.80. Take that from the pop. 20 minus 80 equals 19. Oops, 19. That's it. I don't believe it is that complicated on the exam.
That's not really that complicated either when you put 20 times 4% equals
180.
Yeah.
But look at that. Still, look at this. Technique.
You know what I know that some people struggle with, and I know it sounds like they won't say it on here because they feel like they went to a bad public school, much like all of us. They're like, how do you convert 4% to make it easier to multiply that by 20? Like, do you convert it to 4% or do you just put that in your calculator?
I put that just in my calculator because I'd have to do like that whole 10% of 20 is going to have a 2 in it. And then I have to figure it, like, if it was 10 or 100%, it would be easier. So and everybody gets a calculator for the exam, by the way, if you needed it.
So relax. So that's a question I know that some people struggle with.
Yeah. I wouldn't stress too much about this. All right.
Different Q bank.
Different question bank. Different test.
Different test.
All right. So again, looking at the test taking techniques, like what we do on Tuesday, this is the only answer choice that has digits in it, numbers. Only one. And then it says true accept. And guess what? It's the answer. But of course, the person who sent this was like, what?
What happened? I don't get it.
Right.
Randy, how's this true? And accept.
Now, what it's asking is about 1035 exchanges. 1035 exchanges are tricky. Okay. So backstory, just real quick. 1035 exchanges.
I remember you doing one actually.
Yes. 1035 exchanges are basically when you take a contract and you're rolling it over into another contract. That's a basic connection.
Do we need to know an example of a contract to contract?
Annuity to annuity. Probably the most common.
Like one variable annuity to another variable annuity?
Just annuity to annuity.
Don't even need to complicate it?
Don't need to complicate.
Any annuity.
Any annuity.
To another annuity.
That's it.
That's a contract.
It's a contract.
Annuities are contracts.
Correct. So are variable life insurance.
If you don't know, now you know.
Now the question is asking to determine if that is suitable, each of the following statements are true excepts. So what we are doing is that we are looking for the not true. How many of you guys get tripped up on not trues?
All the time. Do you know what a not true is?
Not true. This is what I'm looking for. Now, I already told you that technique-wise, A is the answer because it's the only one with a number. So how would you determine suitability on a contract to contract? A new surrender period. That's an important factor. Deferred sales charges assessed on the exchange. Is there going to be a sales charge on the old contract? That's important to know. Is the person going to lose a death benefit on the old contract? Vital to know. Have they done an exchange within the last 24 months? That's actually not correct. The number, test topic alert, the number is 36 months. That is the actual number. So if that's the number 36, it's not 24. So that means that's the not true statement. The number is wrong. Does that make sense?
The number is false.
Number is wrong. Okay.
Right. Marvin asks, because this is one of our techniques.
Yes.
That we do say if there's a number in the answer, it usually is true. Or the answer. Sorry. Not true in this case, but the answer.
The answer.
And he says always. Now, there's no such thing as always, all. There's no definitives.
Correct.
But let's just say a good percentage of the time. If I was going to be clueless on this exam, if I had no clue at all what this question and answer is at all, and I was going to guess, and I had the same situation pop up on me, and I saw that one of the answers had a number in it, and I was gonna guess anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
I would pick that one.
Right.
Could be right.
Right.
More percentage of the time it is,
Right.
but I'm not guaranteeing.
Look,
But we do clarify this up in the membership on Mondays and Fridays. So
we
if
do.
you're not a member, this is a great time to promote the fact that that's what we do in those hours and in all the live sessions to really define how these techniques work.
Yes, because look, totally forgot what I was gonna say. Number wasn't. I mean, the answer. What I was gonna say was totally in my head, and then I got distracted. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. So when it comes to any of these techniques, we wouldn't even bring this up if it didn't work the majority of the time. And just like we were talking about yesterday, right? We were talking yesterday, and we were talking about Mona, must, only, never, and always. Always is one of those choices that's usually not true because it's very rare that something is always something. So we are not going to say that these techniques work all the time, 100% of the time, are always, but they work
Enough.
to not ignore them. It could have been a starting point for you. It could have been like what Andy was saying, where you're going to guess anyways. Why don't you guess the one with the technique?
I'm lost right now and I have no idea what I'm going for. Do it anyway. Kevin did it on the 63
Yes.
and he was like, it centered me back to where it was. Wait, don't exit out yet. So I'm gonna keep it anonymous because they sent it to me direct.
Okay.
But this person said, do y'all have any advice or tricks to help you keep words that are interchangeable or similar straight without confusing them for something else? I would say the closest thing we would do as like, for instance, like not true. I think a lot of people get that wrong because they don't know that they're looking for something that is false.
Right.
Not true and a true sometimes in our brains, and they do this on purpose because it confuses us. So what you do is on your scrap paper, this is what I've seen you do, and you can say your other tips and tricks and stuff. But I think especially with you, was writing it out on your scrap paper, literally A B C D, and then you put false statement.
Yeah.
Or you look at the word and you say, what is this word saying? Like we go over this in the techniques and then we go in this in the live quizzes that you do over on the Mondays and Fridays and all the other sessions that we do live. And you really go into detail about how you do that with the interchangeables. But a lot of it has to do, for the free and the fun, has to do with writing it out just like this.
Yes. Exactly. I did the looking for what I'm looking for. That's what I did. Looking for the not true, all the following, or which of the following is not true. I would write that on my paper because I would get so caught up on I knew what, like I was familiar with one or more of the answer choices. So I'd be excited. That's the answer. It's not, because that's not what I was looking for. So I always wrote down what I was looking for until I got to the point where I didn't have to write it down every single time.
Now, if you were going to ask something that's interchangeable or similar that is a securities type word, you'd have to give an example of that. Then Brandy can help you with that.
Yes.
Because there's so many things that are so interchangeable and
I mean, unfortunately, that's just
like some people get
language.
yeah, and also I think in securities a lot of people get caught up with, and I know that sometimes when we talk about options, and there's another thing that sounds like it's the same thing when they say the buy and the put and then the you know what I'm talking about.
Right. Well, we have the call feature on a bond, right? On a bond. And then we have call options and on an option. Does that make sense? Unfortunately, they're both called calls. So you
But
have
they're
to
not the same.
but they're definitely not the same. So you have to make sure you look at the context of how they are using it. Is that more? I hope that clarifies your direct message that you got.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't really. that, but I was just I'm just shooting in the dark here.
Yeah.
I hope that answered the question.
And you see in the chat that Chantal put it, she wrote down what she was looking for in the question, because a lot of times that's what we do. We get caught up on what are we even looking for, and it's best just to map it out.
It really is. If you just write what your thoughts are on a piece of paper, it helps you keep it straight. So that way you don't keep bouncing around with ideas in your head and trying to figure out what this question is trying to ask and trying to look at the answers. And am I doing the technique? And am I remembering this right? And am I like, guys, the more you write out, the less you'll have to think about it, the easier the process will be.
Exactly.
That's why they give you this scrap paper.
Exactly.
Just make your notes very sweet and to the point, because a lot of times there's no point on your pen.
Yes.
They say it's a Sharpie, but it's really a Dully.
Exactly.
Oh, so then this person said rate, yield, return, or other words that can mean the same thing. Sometimes it seems as if I think these words are on the different depending on the question.
Okay, so here's what I did. It may be neurotic to some people, but this is what I did. Coupon is the same thing as the stated rate, which is the same thing as the fixed rate, which is the same thing as the nominal yield. And I think that there's one extra thing in there. Interest. It's probably just interest. Right. And I honestly, if I would see one, like if I would see one and I'd get the question wrong, even if I got it right, I would literally say it just like that. I would say coupon, stated rate, fixed rate, nominal. Like I would say it as I saw it. So if I saw coupon, my brain literally went coupon, stated, fixed, nominal.
A train of word association.
Right. Yield is kind of the same as return. It's profit after cost. And then return is usually everything that you get back. Everything that you got back. Boom. So those types of things, it's just, it takes repetition. It takes repetition. And then like, I have this thing that I tell people, like when you see a coupon, right, and you see 5%, those of you who know, right, add a dollar sign, add a zero, add a dollar sign, add a zero. And then so it turns into $50 a year or two of 25. That is exactly how I think. Every time I see 5% coupon, my brain goes add a dollar sign, add a zero, divide by two.
Some people have asked us, I would pay anything. I would pay anything to have your thoughts on paper like that, to where it is all exactly how you think and how you would put those things together. So that way I could easily remember it. So that way, when I'm on the test, I'm easily remembering these things and I can easily make flashcards out of it. I can easily have this, all this information just like this. And I don't have to go through 1,000-page book or 480-page book with multiple pages.
Right.
And all the connections are right there and easy for me to do it. I would pay anything.
Right.
Luckily for you, scan the QR code right there and you don't have to pay a lot, but we already have a book, SIE book, the 663, 2665. We have that exactly like that, made easy for you to do that. That's exactly how our books are put together.
Exactly.
So
that's nice.
There you go. Nice little setup. Huh?
That was nice.
Because that's how our books are organized. And you can ask anybody on here if they have our book. That's exactly how we made it. So that way you can easily keep these thoughts straight, easily already mapped out and already written. So that way you can just make it a lot easier to make those connections instead of going through all those pages, going, oh, these are all related. Oh, this is all belonging together. Okay. And then you follow what we do in the live sessions where we show you how to connect the dots and just get the answer right. Because that's all it's all about, really, honestly. It's just about getting the answers right. Look, all of you, I just want you to all just to repeat after me. All I need to do is pass.
All I need is pass.
And I'll tell you how simple this is. All you need to do is pass. You don't need to think any deeper about it. You don't really need to go deep diving on how all this stuff works. You just literally need to connect one dot with the other and get the dang answer. How you get there, it doesn't matter. because no one cares when you walk out with that pass notice. No one's going to ask to see your work. All that matters is you got enough right to get a pass notice, whether it's through technique, whether it is through content wise, whether it is that you just wrote that train of thought in your head and you remembered it and you just connected that word with that word because they go together like peanut butter and jelly. And that's why you got the answer right. That's all that matters. That's it, to be honest. So as you're going through your quizzes tonight and as you're working on this, that's what you need to keep in your head. Make it simple, connect the dots like peanut butter and jelly, get the answer right. Don't stress, don't go too deep in it. Even on the number questions, even on the math questions, it's not that difficult. You just got to get enough to pass. And all you have to do is pass this exam. That's it. You just have to pass. That's it. That's all. That's it. Tomorrow we have live sessions for members. We'll be back, same bat time, same bat channel for the Studying Brew. Brandy's going to have 6 questions, 6 different exams. She's going to go over it with a little bit of content, a little bit of technique. She's going to break it down like Charlie Brown. Be here or miss out. That's all I'm going to say to you. Or watch us on the replay on YouTube's Patreon, or find us on the Discord, even on our Telegram. Scan the QR code, get connected, all the ways that are Kona. But until then, everybody stay safe out there. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your friend's face. That's all I know. Keep a positive mental attitude. PM, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you all so much for being on. We so super appreciate you. Practice looking for techniques in your quizzes. We will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one.